Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Podriplegics podcast. I want to thank our sponsors, Arizona Spinal Cord Injury Association. If you look behind Mr. Eric Kenning and our guest for today, Mr. Tom Morello, you can see they are at the actual offices. Do you live there? I don't know. Maybe in a van down by the river. Who knows? That's for another time, another day. You can find Arizona Spinal Cord Injury Association at azspinal.org, or you can call them at 602-507-4209. Eric loves the late night 4 a.m. phone calls to talk about your day. You can find this podcast on YouTube, azspinal.org/podcast, Facebook, the Arizona Spinal Cord Injury Friends Association group. Friends Group Association-ish, something like that. Audio wise, we're on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio. And again, for my Italian and English new listeners, I'm sporting my Premier League stuff for you. I know we're mid-season. I love it. So thank you. Right now it is Aston Villa. That's because my favorite player plays for Aston Villa, but I've been a lifetime Chelsea fan. So it kind of goes against each other. But anyways, let me run through this, and then we can talk about it. All right. Don, Eric, myself, LaRonda have 100-plus years of living with a disability. We are not medical professionals. If you are having medical issues, please contact your doctor or 911. There will be mature language and content, mostly from LaRonda.
Yeah.
Not me, by the way. And don't sue us. If you sue anybody, like always, the guy with all the monies is Eric. So sue Eric. All right. Welcome. Thank you for everybody joining us. Today we have a special guest, somebody who's known Eric for a very, very long time and is very familiar with the life of a person with a disability. He's a caregiver. He's been one for a long time. He's got a very interesting story to talk to us about today, and maybe tell us some stories about Mr. Eric Kenning that we don't know. That's what I'm waiting to get out of him.
Yeah, we want some dirt.
And he shares his name with one of my favorite guitarists ever, Mr. Tom Morello. Tom Morello, thank you for being here.
You guys, thank you for having me today. Eric, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I know that you said you have been a caregiver. So talk to us a little bit about some of the caregiving you have given, some of the care you have given, and how long you've been doing it and the sort.
I've actually been caregiving pretty much all my life. When my parents got sick, battled cancer, I had to take care of them. Mom and dad passed away a few years ago. And then later on in life, about 7 years ago, I became disabled 11 years ago from valley fever and the H1N1 swine flu. It damaged my lungs where I can't work full time like I used to work. And I've just been on medications to open my lungs, steroids, and just, it's been rough. But so at the same time, I had a lot of time on my hands and I just couldn't just sit. I just wanted to do something. So I got into the caregiving type business and see what it was all about. And I enjoy the work. It's just, it's sad. I see a lot of improvements that should be done in some of these facilities. They pretty much, I don't believe they treat some of these clients as good as they should, especially the money that they're making.
Are you so do you mostly do in facility caregiving,
Yes,
or do you do
like
private home?
Well, no, in the house itself, facilities where they have anywhere from 3 to 4 people per home. Could range anywhere from people, quadriplegic. It could be autistic, Asperger, autism, could be cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, any condition they might have. You're there to help, get them along, lead a normal life. Unfortunately, some of the people they hire in are like teenagers out of high school, and 18, 19 years old, they barely, can wipe behind their ears, let alone care for an adult and understand what they're supposed to be doing. A lot of times, sometimes I've noticed female and some male caregivers would sometimes treat some of the clients as like they were kids. And these are the last thing you should do is treat them like a kid. They're adults.
You treat me like a kid all the time.
I'm sorry?
I said you treat me like a kid all the time.
Well, it's easy because that's what you. So that's but it's sad to see because some of the caregivers should take the first rule of thumb. Treat this person like it was your brother, your mother, your uncle, your grandma. You wouldn't like someone to treat your relatives or parents like that, then you should show respect with them as well. And
yeah, I mean, I think there are a lot of issues when it comes to that whole field, right? I mean, even when you go as far all the way up to from caregiving all the way to LP and art and nursing itself, there's a lot of problems with that in that field, and I don't know if we want to get into that kind of stuff. Go ahead, Lorana.
Well, I have a question. Like, okay, so you're saying that there's like a lot of young kids that do this. Like, what type of training do you, or like a certification? I know my sisters are in that type of work, and they're always doing like all these certifications to work.
Sorry, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Well, to work in a facility. So,
right.
So what type of training and certificates do you have to have?
Well, you get trained for about anywhere from a week to 2 weeks. You have to be certified in first aid, CPR, wounds, home care wounds, medication, how to distribute medication out. If a client hurts themselves, you have to understand if they're having like epileptic seizure, you have to know what to do as far as rolling them over. And you get some training, and you have to be really certified every year for such training. Problem is, I don't think some of the workers I saw up in Flagstaff, I don't know how Phoenix, I've heard stories as well, but in Flagstaff, a lot of these people would think of it as, I'd rather do this than flip a burger at Burger King. Is their attitude? It's like, I've even heard them say, I can text all day, I can talk to my boyfriend, do my homework, and it's an easy job. Just sit there and watch them. I mean, some of the clients like to go out. They want to go out to movies. They want to go out, get something to eat. They don't want to just sit there and watch TV all day. And it's just I can't say all people do that. Not everyone does that. But there is a few that do spoil it for others.
Hey, Tom, I got a question for you.
Yes.
When you have to drive people around, did they ever refer to you as a chauffeur or anything like that? Okay, I'm just making sure. Making sure.
I usually say to Eric, home, James, could you hurry up? Give me a cheese.
That was a dig, man. That was,
I know, it was a dig.
Throwing shots. It's a little early to be throwing shots.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I told him I was gonna be good, but if he wants to open that door, I will walk in.
Yeah, I mean, I think that any of us, I know for myself, I have caregivers. I have nurses. I know Don probably does as well. I don't know if LaRonda or Eric do, but man, finding a good caregiver or a good nurse is paramount to your success and what happens through your growth as being disabled. It really is. I mean, if you have bad caregivers, and your whole day and your whole life can be,
it brings you down. It brings your whole psyche gets brought down. If you have some, can I help you? Oh, okay. Well, you can just sit there. We'll do something another time, and it brings your whole mood, your psyche down. And plus, it's not good for the person you're supposed to be working for. You're not there to do your homework or talk to your boyfriend or text someone. You're there for the clients to assist them so they can move on and get stronger and start being more independent.
Well, do they have someone to supervise? Like, you know what I'm saying? To make sure, that they're doing their job. Like, do you guys have to fill out I always say questionnaire because everything has a dang on questionnaire
Right.
attached.
Supervisors
But
are
you know what I'm
around once
saying?
in a while.
Mhm.
They're around once in a while, but usually supervisors, they're very, how can I say, frugal in what they pay people. They barely pay a
Mhm.
minimum wage, maybe 50 cents more if you take an overnight shift. But the
Mhm.
supervisor are busy with 3, 4 homes, going from one home to another. I mean, the average client gets it $80 a day from the government to, fed into the government. So 1 month, 30 days, 2,400 a month. 3 clients, that's 7,200 a month times what? For 1 year, 86,000. If you have
Mhm.
3, 4 homes, we're talking about 260,000 a year. And
Mhm.
I can tell you right now, some of the food is not always the best that some of these clients should be eating.
Sure.
I-
I mean, I think most places require CNAs or LPNs or RNs to fill out what they call progress notes.
Yes.
Something of the
You have,
something of the
you have a
sort,
log
so
book
that
you have to do.
every 2 hours they have to notate what it is they did or have, they've supposedly done. But again, if there's not
Mhm.
somebody that looks those things over, and
Mhm.
if the client is not able to kind of be able to respond back or give you feedback into what is difficult or why they don't like this person or this person didn't do that, or there's a lot of ways to manipulate that system,
Oh.
so yeah.
I've seen it. Oh, there's a lot of ways. Wait to the end of the night, just write blah blah. I mean, if you're a newbie, I was a newbie, so should I document that? Everything's okay. You don't need to document that. Then we have to do another report. Just put he had a great day. Everything was great. He had breakfast, lunch, dinner. Good day for this person. And then the never gets solved. And the next day, someone might have a behavior issue, and they don't know what happened. He was good yesterday. Today, he's like, very upset.
Tom, I'm curious, does the state ever come in to do an
Oh, they do
inspection,
checks. Yeah, they do checks. I mean,
surprise inspections kind of thing? Or do they know that's coming? I
I-
mean, I'm just wondering how this can be improved. What do you see as remedy or improvements that can be made, in your opinion?
I watch people come in when they know the state's coming. They're warned about it. They're warned like a few days before, saying, "We're going to have people come in to inspect everything." So you get everything up to date, make sure everything's clean, floors, everything has to be clean. Here comes the inspection. So they don't want no chaos or anything happening. It might be a day you take the clients out. Guys want to go to a movie today? Boom.
Yeah, that doesn't seem right. To me, it seems like it should be unannounced, surprise
Oh,
inspection.
no, spot check.
Right.
They don't have, like I remember in college when it was parents' weekend, they always served the best food when the parents were there.
Yeah.
We'd have steak on parents' weekend, and parents would leave, and their food is not so bad. I'm like, yeah.
And then later you eat beans and corn, and oh look, we made tacos today. Had those 3 times.
So I mean that to me is surprising that they don't do spot or surprise inspections.
I
Well, I
worked
mean,
it for
I
6
think the
years. I've never
issue-
seen one surprise visit.
I think the issue really, and this is from
Mhm.
my personal experience of both running a care company and also being a client for a care company. I think the issues mostly come in the fact of you have to, one, have funding to be able to pay people money. Okay.
Mhm.
If you can't pay people, if you're only paying people $10 an hour, you can't expect them to be doing $25 or $30 an hour work.
You're gonna get what
It's
you
not-
pay for.
Yeah,
Right.
that's not the way it works, especially here in America, right? I mean, it's just not how it goes. So one, that needs to be upped, especially for people who are on full-time disability, who can't care for themselves in any way or shape or form, or dependent upon other people to care for them. And two, I think that there needs to be better checks and balances when it comes to these companies that send in aides or nurses to people's homes or to facilities, and it's not all about simply a bottom line dollar that you're worth this much, you're worth this much, you're worth this much. I know one thing that we do when we have clients is we involve them into the hiring process. So when you get people to apply and do all these different things, you whittle them down to 4 or 5 people, and then you bring the client in and you let them interview with them as well. So that way they can understand that that's somebody they're going to be around for periods of time, and they can have a feel for, okay, this person maybe I like better than this person, I can vibe better or sit, But again, that is strictly dependent upon whether or not they can communicate those things. So,
But as you know, Shawn, it's a high turnover job.
super high.
Mhm.
Super
I mean, a
high.
lot of people either don't have the stomach for it, or they're not patient. They were never patient to begin with, so they shouldn't be in this kind of work.
Yeah. And I mean, I've said that many times. I don't know if I've ever said it on here. I think a lot of people who go into the medical realm as far as caregiving, RN jobs, LPN jobs, they don't do it because they really want to care for people. They do it because it's a way to make money and not have to go through 8 years of college, or you know what I mean? Like, it's just it really is. It's just a way to have a steady job that pays you okay and decent money, and you don't have to necessarily be a doctor, or you know what I mean, or a MA or a PA or something. So I think that if we could shift that somehow to where
Mhm.
we only really focus on the people who want and to be caregivers and want to care for people, and then be able to pay them a living wage, I think things
Right.
would change. But
Right.
unfortunately, where's the money? You know what I mean? That's what it comes
Yeah.
down to.
When I initially got out of college or got out of school, I worked for the medical examiner's office, and majority, I will probably say a good 70% of the people that we had came in were coming from those types like situations where they fell, or they ended up, with bed sores and just different, different stuff. I was like really shocked of how many people pass away in assisted living facilities and those situations. And like I said, and a lot of them were basically, oh, they slipped and they had to use the bathroom, and they got up and slipped and fell and like broke hips, or broke a bone, and things of that nature. So yeah, I'm with you, Shawn. And then it's like, like even with my sisters, like they had to get like higher. It's like every time I turn around, they're getting certified in something, and once they get certified, they can get paid more. And I'm like, I don't think that there's an amount of money that should be really kind of set. What they get paid now makes no sense, because they're taking care of loved. I mean, they're doing an important job, a job that a computer can't do. That you have to have that human person, you know what I'm saying, to basically
Contact, human
provide those
contact.
services. You're right. Correct. So my
But
sister swears like, you will never put you, that's their like thing to
yeah,
me. Like, if you ever get to the point to where you need that help, we'll never put you there. I mean, they wouldn't want anyone else to take care of me
see,
or
they're
to assist
observing
me
it, they're
with anything.
seeing it. But look at a
Mhm.
couple of years ago with the lady who was, incapacitated. She was in a, vegetation state, and she got pregnant, had a
Oh
baby.
yeah.
Remember a couple of years back, and that
It
was a
was here in
big,
Phoenix,
big
yeah.
facility in
Wow.
Yeah.
Phoenix.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Does
mean,
anybody
and no
remember
one
the
knew what
name of that
happened. They just
facility?
said she's giving birth to a baby.
I don't remember the name. I think they might have shut down actually.
Yeah, well, yeah, I
Oh yeah,
think now
they
the
got
owner shut that
sued.
down, but
Yeah, they got sued, and
yeah,
they ended up finding out because she gave like was in a comatose state, because I think they were trying to abort. Didn't they want to abort the baby or something like that?
I think they
It was
aborted the
crazy.
first one.
Yeah, it was. I don't
First
know about the
one.
first one. It was the
There
first
was
one.
two?
I think it happened twice, they said,
Oh my
to this
goodness.
person.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, oh no, no, I know. I think it was only one time, because her family was so. I remember. It was actually, yeah, yeah, because I was in Wisconsin when it happened.
Yeah,
So yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
and
it
then
was crazy.
it's just a tough business in
Hmm.
general. I mean, especially when you're talking about too, when you talk about family members, all right? Now, if you look at family members taking care of you, that's a very difficult situation. One, because the government only pays a certain amount of hours for family members to take care of you. They don't pay if you have 24-hour care, they're not going to pay 24 hours for your family to take care of you. Okay, so that puts a burden on the family, right? Then you have to talk about relationships that you have with each other. Now, if you're stuck with just one person taking care of you and it is your family member, I'm going to tell you, I think we had this conversation when my brother was on here, right?
Yeah.
It is brutal. It is so hard. It is such a difficult thing and such a burden to put on a family member or any family members, you know? So it's hard for us too, right? Like it's hard for us, it's hard for everybody. And there's no way to like make it financially acceptable enough to where it's like, okay, I'm going to quit my job because I have to care for, you know, my disabled child. Well, you can't, because you got to pay for them to live too. Right?
Survival. You got to survive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
it's hard.
just it. But it, you know, in the word burden, if your family's a true family member, they're gonna take care of you and love you no matter what. I mean, if
Sure.
they have to do it, they're gonna have to do it.
But 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, bro. That's hard.
It's hard. Yeah, I know.
You
it's
know,
hard.
I was just gonna say
Love,
that. Look at me.
love that goes a long way.
Right. I have to disagree because I don't want my family. I mean, they say they'll do it, but you know, I don't want my family taking care of me because
Yeah,
I feel like they'll be like, right? They'll be like, oh, she alright.
My
Look,
family,
and I know for a fact, you know, things are different. Like if you have a caregiver or you have a nurse or you have an aide, they're there to do what it is that you tell them to do, or whatever your care plan is, right? I mean, whatever your doctor writes down as your care plan. If it's your mom or your brother or your sister and they go, I don't really feel like stretching you today, dude. Sorry. Like, just get up. Like, what are you going to say to them? Like, no, I need to. And they go, well, okay, we'll get you up later. Like, I'll just go upstairs. You know what I mean? Like, it's a completely different ball. Completely different.
I can see that, Shawn.
I had a sister like that when my dad was battling cancer. And she's just, I'm tired of what, you know, I can't keep doing this. And I just told her, get out, then I'll do it, no problem. Well, I gotta go see my boyfriend. I said, go on. And, you know, to this day, I still don't talk to her.
Now, see, I'm gonna get me a water gun. I'll fuck somebody up. Hey.
I told you she was gonna cuss before me.
You nailed it.
I'm just gonna be honest. I'm just keep it 100. I'm like that. I'm like, no. You know, no, that's why I couldn't have one of my sisters because it would be a cussing match. You know what I'm saying? I've been fell out the bed or something trying to beat their ass. Right. So I don't be.
I'll tell you a story, a true story for me. I used to have my friends when I was in college work for me. You know what I mean? And we were on a road trip, and you know, we had been up all night drinking, going to bars or whatever, and I always woke up early. For some reason, after a long night of drinking, I always wake up early. And I was like, hey, come on, man, get me up. I bugged him for like 15, 20 minutes. Finally, he got up, he picked me up and sat me on the floor and then walked off and went back and laid in bed. So I was stuck on the floor for like 45 minutes to an hour until the other guys woke up and were like, what are you doing on the floor? I was like, this dude, he just put me on the floor because he didn't want to listen to me yell and scream anymore. You know what I'm saying? So
think how bad I am. Denise, look at me. Denise. I don't need Denise.
Right? They might listen, they might not. Oh, I didn't hear you.
You see.
You can't fire your family, man.
You're right, can't hire your family.
Sometimes friends can be better than family. I
want none of
a lot. And, you know, I love my family. I call them in Michigan. How's everything going? Good, really? Oh, another baby. Oh, great. Well, I gotta go. I'll see you later. You know, it's like.
Oh no, I talk to my family. I talk to my sisters probably all day. like all day. We hold the phone sometimes and don't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because we all be at work and we know we can't say that when the supervisors come around. So you be like this. With your ear. So I know I could write. I know I couldn't have. I mean, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because we'll be fighting. I'll be on the floor, be like they did Shawn. That's exactly what they'll do to me. They'll be high or and put me on the floor and tell me to shut up.
Right. I mean, it happens. Look, and it's not like I was like, hey. I mean, sure, I was being annoying. It was like 8:30 in the morning, and we didn't go to bed till like 4:30 or 5. I was being annoying, right? I mean, and he was playing his part in being annoying back to me to try to show me how annoying I was being.
Mhm.
But that's the difference, right? Like a caregiver couldn't do that to you.
No,
Oh, no.
no, you'd be in
To
trouble.
lose your license, to
there's a lot
be
of
gone,
laws,
to be fired.
you get in
Yeah.
trouble.
Mhm.
So
I mean, that's what's
I mean-
great about being friends with somebody, especially Thanksgiving. Eric likes the parades at Thanksgiving, don't you?
So,
I'm my
okay.
family too. What you talking about?
All right, so I
Historian.
need to give you a little background on this one.
Mhm.
So when I first met Tom, I was living in my van down by the river for a couple of years.
Huh?
And
Seriously, he was. That's why he makes it. He was.
I know when you said that, I was like, dude, you have no idea. You're so on with that.
That's why we said that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was living in a van in the forest for a couple of years, and I was working 3 jobs, and I was working almost every day, and anyways, I got to know Tom and Kathy. Kathy is was his wife, and so Kathy introduced me to Tom, and the winter was coming on for my 3rd year, and they're just like, you can't do this. Tom came up to me, he's like, you can't be doing this anymore, Eric. I'm like, yeah, I can. He goes, no, there's guys getting murdered out there in
Where he was
RVs
camping out at.
where you're camping out. And I'm like, well, I haven't been touched. I mean, I'm doing fine, whatever. And he's like, look, come over for Thanksgiving. And I'm like, okay. And so I came over for Thanksgiving, and so went over that night, and we talked. We stayed up kind of late, and I slept on the couch, which was where the TV was, and then the kitchen's right behind the living room. I didn't realize this guy wakes up hella early. Like, I'm a sleep-in sort of guy. When you go to bed to like 3 o'clock, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to sleep in to 9 or something like that. Nope. 7 o'clock, jumps on the couch, turns on the TV, watching the parade. I'm like, oh my God. I was tortured.
He was saying, shut it off. I'm like, dude, I gotta get the bird in the oven. I gotta clean it and get ready. You just sit. You want to just sit there and look at the parade. And I hate this freaking parade.
Wasn't a happy
But
camper.
I just felt.
Old man
I just felt
Foley
Eric
over there
should be my-
living in a van down by the river.
If I'm ever on again, I will bring you pictures. I got young Eric.
Oh, yeah, we want to see pictures.
24 years ago. I like your
I
picture.
still can't believe, Eric, you was living in a van.
We're talking
Working 3. Look at me working 3.
Yeah.
Why you're saying that?
Flagstaff, Arizona, off Lake Mary Road, 20 below zero wind chill.
What was wrong with
Man,
you?
how'd you
You're
do
like,
that?
what was wrong with you?
Well, okay, now wait a minute.
He was attempting to be a motivational speaker.
I was a motivational speaker before that, actually. Believe it or not, I actually spoke for school.
See, being Italian, if my grandfather was here, he would have said, "What's the matter with you?"
I was in a commercial
Oh,
for
God.
Sterner and Klein, and
I taped it.
He taped it, and he came up to me. He'd always tell me the line, and
Eric was in a commercial for Sterner and Klein where you worked at.
yeah,
We're
tell
selling
him.
AOL products.
Oh, it was hell.
4.0,
Oh, wow.
5.0.
Jesus, you old. Yeah, look at me, you old,
Really?
Eric.
Yeah.
Really?
AOL. And so we call people up. Hi, we got the new 5.0. Would you like it? Oh, yeah, send it to me. All right, it's on its way. And so Eric makes a commercial.
What did I say? On a good day?
On a good day, he goes, "Hi, I work for Sterner and Klein." He had his headset, microphone. He said, when I work really hard, I can make almost $10 an hour. And I'm like, oh, classic. And I taped these, and you got rid of that tape. I said, no, watch this. And
He's still
Jesus.
got
Still
it.
got it? VHS?
Somewhere, yes,
VHS. Yeah,
VHS.
he's still
We need
got
to
it.
transfer that to a DVD.
DVD.
I
Okay,
mean,
okay. Second question, Eric. How did you take a shower?
Okay, so here's the deal. Here's the deal with that. So
Hold on. You washed your butt on lake water?
no, Tom, no, that is not correct. Tom's
Like
messing with you.
parasites? I'm thinking about parasites.
No,
Fish
no,
eggs.
no. So
You found a little parasite right here. You brought it in.
So there were two ways I did the shower thing. Okay, one at the telemarketing building, they had a shower. They did. I would go take showers there all the time.
Okay.
I also got.
Hey, Eric, why you staying late? Oh, I just got some extra stuff to do, guys. You guys
Right.
go ahead. Don't worry about me.
Right.
get to work
I
now.
look at it. I
Don't
just
worry
gotta
about
wash.
me.
You're right. I just gotta wash my ass. That's about it. Just gotta go.
Turns on the sink.
That place was so crazy.
Right.
It was crazy.
It was a zoo.
It was
that
a-
place, but we loved it because
It-
all of us, we had our own bay and everyone got along. Just, it was like a private
Oh,
bay.
people were nuts.
Oh, we were well nuts doing
We
it.
were like the calm. I was the calm one.
I was innocent. I didn't do anything in there.
Yeah. I'd actually fall asleep.
He
on
would
the
fall
Hold
couch
on,
asleep.
So you took a shower at work.
and slept
Um,
at work.
and where?
At work when he was on the phone.
Yeah, I would sleep
It was
between
like
the
this.
10 seconds.
Eric
the
would
little
fall
10
asleep in
seconds.
his chair like, hi, thank you for calling AOL
And I
5.0.
just fall asleep during
And
the
one of the
conversation.
bosses came in and said, Eric, and screamed and jumped. Eric goes, what?
It was so monotonous. God, it was hell. It was hell.
But
But then I also had a fitness pass.
Yeah.
And I was a swim coach. So
Yeah, you-
anytime
swim
I did
coach.
I was coaching swimming.
You got your funky behind in that water swimming.
Yeah, I did.
You
Yeah,
went- you
yeah.
went-
yeah. I washed myself out. Chlorine kills everything.
So I just want to say, you one of
Oh.
those people that say, I'm just gonna jump in the pool because chlorine gonna kill you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kills everything. Kills everything.
I don't need a shower today. I went
I
swimming.
need Stand be
but
all
Eric-
red and rashy.
I can tell you though, honestly, Eric has always been honest. He's been good. He's a good friend, always been good to me and my wife. My wife recently passed away 7 months ago. She passed
Sorry
away
about that.
after
Sorry to
29
hear that.
years of marriage. Eric came up with me and was talking to me, and he's a good friend. I told him if he needed any help, needed a place, I'd take him back anytime he needed to come in.
Yeah. And
He just would have to look at the parades at 7 o'clock, but otherwise, he's welcome anytime now.
so when I was living with them, so actually I ended up moving in for about a year with these guys. 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
And
Jesus.
so
Be my
I
10.
lived upstairs in their place too. So I had to climb upstairs all the time there. Same thing. Oh yeah, he's seen me climb stairs.
Yeah, he's quick. Like,
Wow.
He lived in a van. He can do anything. He's part Superman.
yeah, but he needed a place. It's Eric,
I
man.
know, but he's Superman to my eyes now. I'm like, Eric, I look at
Yeah.
totally different.
Well,
I got one joke I pulled on Eric when he
I-
moved out. We were moving to a different place. Eric moved out. Should I tell him about Kenny Loggins?
oh yeah, that's a good one.
He can't stand Kenny Loggins because he kind of resembles Kenny Loggins.
Kind of.
No, really?
And so I don't know if you guys are a Kenny Loggins fan or there was an album out.
Eric, don't make me do it.
There was an album with like he was holding like a crystal ball and it's glowing. You see,
Oh.
I forgot the name of the album. He's glowing, and so I got it from Bookman's, put on there to Eric, my favorite duplicate of myself, Kenny, and I was banging on his door Sunday night. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, keep banging it. He said, "What the hell? I'm coming down." And he's coming down the stairs. I hear him. I went around the corner, and this album cover. He goes, "What the heck?" And he's looking out like, who's looking there? And he just brought some idiot left some album cover out here.
Jesus.
Like,
Yeah, he's
Okay.
I actually, so when I was in college, another story on the Kenny Loggins real quick. When I was in college and I went to the dance club, and this is when I had grew up my beard. This lady turned around and she freaked out. She goes, "Oh my God, are you Kenny Loggins?" And I'm like, "No." I should have said yes.
Yes, I am.
should have said
Yeah,
yes.
right. Should.
The
No, it depends
question
on how she
is,
looked. It depends
are
on
you
how
ready
she
to
looked.
take a highway?
To the
Right.
danger
It
zone.
depends on how. Look, depends on how she looked.
Oh yeah, no, I should have said Kenny Loggins.
Oh yeah. Well, I done been. You got to know when to hold up. I'd have bust out with a song and a dance.
That's Kenny Rogers.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
his other. That's
That's
another.
still another good star. I like Kenny Rogers.
Let you know. Look, show you how much I know her.
You're kind of in between. You're like a.
So the best joke to play on Eric here is Christmas time played the song "Celebrate" by Kenny Loggins.
No,
It's just
I
call him and say, he'll say, "Was that you, Tom?"
Oh, that reminds me. We were in Vegas.
Oh, yes.
So I was, he lived in Vegas for a while, and I went to go see him right before Christmas. And this guy put on Feliz Navidad, and it was one station, Feliz Navidad, for 24 hours straight.
Oh,
That's
no.
all you heard. And so we're driving around Vegas, and I'm like dying. This one song just won't stop
I
playing.
say, Eric, maybe they'll change it. No, Feliz Navidad again. Feliz Navidad.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
It's like today, I think it's TBS or AMC, they're doing Groundhog's Day. They're playing the movie 24 Hours on
Oh,
one of
that's
these channels.
Yeah.
I used to love that movie.
That's a great movie.
I do once or twice, but not 24 hours.
Yeah, no.
It's like just shoot your eye out. Christmas Story, 24 hours.
Yeah.
But
So
Yeah, I played a couple
I know
jokes.
we had a good time at your expense there, Eric. Thank
Yeah,
you
thanks
for
for letting
that.
us pick on you.
Yeah.
That
We
was
love Eric,
fantastic.
Tom. We love him.
well,
Yeah.
we do too. My wife and I really love Derek, and I'll tell you, he was always and still is a good friend. I wouldn't trade him out for nothing.
I'm
Mhm.
one of the
I'll
only
trade him
people
for a
that
pair of
knows
Air
his.
Max.
Say it again. Say it again.
I'll trade you for a pair of Air Max.
So I'm like one of the only people that knows his secret spaghetti or his red sauce. He has this amazing red sauce that he makes, and he won what was it, second place?
Second place out of 15 people in flag.
Yeah, in a.
Must have took you a while to remember that backwards.
Oh yeah, when you have a mom and dad cooking it all the time, you just looks like this. You show them a bottle of ragu, they say, "Yeah, put that shit away." Cook it like
yeah, of course.
I totally missed that one, Sean. Damn it.
But he does cook the sauce, cooks it up for him and his wife.
Yeah.
Do a lasagna, everything.
Yeah. Well, I know you had a news story you wanted to talk about, right? As far as when caregiving goes.
Yeah, how much time do we have?
We got enough time for you to be able to get through.
Well, it was just a
so.
local. If you look up, I don't know if I should tell the name of the company on here or not, but if you look up on the internet, local company in Phoenix and caregiving place, caregiving office, clients killed by these caregivers. And the story was they're being sued, but I know they shut down a couple of their companies up in Flag because I used to work for one of them. I guess this guy became friends. He was suffering with autism. He had autism, and this caregiver, this woman, was joking with him a lot. She would joke with him and say that was her boyfriend. This is her boyfriend, and sometimes these caregivers, they're a little. You're supposed to keep it professional. You're a caregiver. Let's go out to a movie and stuff, but you don't lead them on. It's just like any, lead them on. The boyfriend or fiance of hers or whatever he was got jealous and said, well, he won't leave me alone. He keeps, thinking I'm his girlfriend and stuff. They were doing meth. They even gave it to the client, and he just flipped out and stabbed this guy 20 times, killed him, and took one of the vans from the company, tried to give away. They caught him in Winslow, Arizona. They were trying to escape. but it's in
The
the
boyfriend killed him or the client killed him?
No, the caregiver killed the client because he got jealous because the caregiver, his girlfriend, was saying that was her boyfriend, the client. And so he got jealous. The
I
fiance.
read the article. It sounded like the client functioned. He was in his 30s, I believe, and he functioned at about 11-year-old.
11-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, how somebody could get jealous of someone
Yeah.
that function. So yeah, the client.
Hey, Don, it was
Yeah.
the meth. It was the meth.
Yeah,
Methods. They were methods.
sure.
Yeah.
And
that's
you know,
bad.
the client didn't have the capability to advocate for himself, or didn't know, you know, really he didn't have the ability to kind of report these kind of things to the proper person. You know, he didn't have that intellectual capability, so he was taken advantage of, and they were taking his money. You know, his money would come in, they take his money and buy drugs.
The girl would
so
say
they really,
money for rent, and he would offer pay her rent.
Exactly the reason in which we decided as our family to start our own.
This company still exists now. I think they still have houses in Phoenix and Tucson.
Yeah.
There was many times in which when I was with an agency, they would send just random people to your house, and you'd be like, "Who is this person?"
Or how about the ones that are supposed to show up and they never do?
It's the same thing too, right? I mean, that's always something that you run the risk of when you have a caregiver or a nurse. I mean, you're always going to run the risk of somebody not showing up, unless you're Don, whose caregiver lives upstairs. You know, we're not all quite so lucky, Don. Yeah, I mean, it's always the risk you're going to run, but I'd rather run that risk than the risk of some random person coming to my house and me being in a vulnerable position and being robbed, taken advantage of.
yeah, I had my share.
God forbid, killed or something of the sort.
I had my share of caregivers that didn't show up, or when they showed up, you know, they didn't do the job the way they were supposed to. I've never had anybody steal from me that I knew of, but I've heard that all the time, you know, especially if there's medication involved.
Yeah.
So have you ever had to, you or Shawn, like ever had to just like go ham on somebody? Like, you know what I'm saying? It was just like being straight disrespectful.
For sure, many times. I mean, there's a way you have to go about things in the beginning to be able to set precedent of how you want to be treated, right? And I think that's part of it too. For people who can't necessarily do that, it can be difficult. You know, but for me, I don't have a problem with letting people know when they're in my space too much. Well, letting people know when I don't want them around. Letting people know when they say things that I don't like, or you know, I mean, it's pretty hard to offend me, but you know what I'm saying,
right?
Or when they overstep their bounds. There's times in which that happens too. So you know, you have to be able to have an open dialogue with a caregiver, and that's what makes a good caregiver client relationship, is that be able to have open dialogue and understand that it's more than just I'm here for 6 hours or 5 hours. It's more than that. Then a good caregiver or a good nurse or something will become part of your extended family and will be part of what happens with your life. You know, they know everything that you do and ins and outs of it. And so I've had to do it several times. I've had to fire people on the spot. I've had to do all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about bad caregivers, but there are some really good ones that I've had.
Well, there's some good ones.
They deserve, you know, recognition too, because that's, like you said, it's not an easy job. And you know, where would we be without the good ones, right? So I just want to recognize them as well.
Right.
I mean, and this is not about knocking caregivers really. Some of it's systematic too. You know, the system
exactly.
It's the system not working, not the caregivers too.
So
So
really,
I I think that can contribute to it. But
I think if you're honestly going to get into this business and someone's going to open up 3 houses, care for people, do it because you like the job, you love the job, you want to help someone. You're paying it forward and want to help somebody, not just do it to see how much profit you can make. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it boils down to. If you're going to treat people not well, then why are you in this business?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not necessarily that either. You know, I think sometimes people can bite off more than they can chew, and it can become a situation where it's like, oh my goodness, now I got these 3 homes with these 8, 9, 12, 15, 20 clients or whatever, and it's hard for me, you know, and it becomes an exhausting job. I mean, I just think about myself as just my care for myself and how much work I put into it, how much work my mom helps me put into it, how much work I mean, it's a more than a full-time job.
It's a 24/7 job.
Yeah, but you know, but that's the reason why, like I said, you know, I said, sorry, my thing saying low battery. I'm sorry, but that's the reason why I said Eric. I mean, I said that I will open up. I think I'm going to open up. That's the field that I want to go into myself, because I don't know why a lot of people that are disabled, you know what I'm saying? We should be on these boards, you know, doing the certification and getting the input, because who knows better than us? You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't, an able-bodied person, you know, I feel they can't give you the full, experience or the full knowledge of what it takes to be basically disabled, you know, and things of that nature. So, you know, I think that that's the reason why, you know, we need more advocates in that area, and it's lacking, you know, it's lacking really bad, you know, for people just to, you know, to advocate for proper care, proper health, you know, and things of that nature. I think that we need to do more in that area as being disabled.
I think the best thing could be, but I don't know if they'll do it, because they might say entrapment, is use someone as a mole. Go in there, check out the facility, and then take notes of what's going on. Wear a mic. I know some people might not like it, but it's a good way to catch what's going on.
Yeah.
What do you think? You want me to be a mole?
That's a tough.
Right, that's gonna violate. Ain't that some type of violation?
That violates HIPAA laws to find
the
fullest of all full.
You know, but if you're working for the state and you want to catch what's going on,
you still can't see somebody's medical stuff like that. You can't be part of that.
I was gonna say, I just think that it needs to be better screening. You know what I'm saying? Better screening for caregivers. I do believe there need to probably be random drug testing. You know what I'm saying?
They don't do that.
I
can tell you right now, they don't. If they did any test of drug testing, you probably wouldn't have half the workers, because a lot of people buy because
it depends on the drugs. You know what I'm saying? Because
I mean weed.
It depends on the drugs, but if I test the meth coming back, you need to go about your business. I don't care about no marijuana. I don't care about alcohol. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody drink here and there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but I just think that you need I think the screening needs to be, you know, more, you know, because I see how my sister and them get hired. They be like, oh girl, I just hear it from their end, of the people that they basically, how they hire these people. My sister would be like, man, she had to tell on a couple people. Because she said, you know, that could be my sister you taking care of.
Exactly. So that's the point I was saying. But when you tell
her, she ain't a mole. She just told the supervisor that she was doing a job.
But then when you tell on them, sometimes the supervisors are friends with the people you just told on.
Oh no, my sister call a state on you. My sisters don't play. They'll call a state on the facility.
That's what should be done a lot, because girls and guys sometimes should be kind of just, you know, at each other. And did you hear what she said? Well, we're going to give her the business. That happens in these in these homes too.
I think one thing also needs to be said, as far as we as the clients go, we need to make sure that we're respectful of the people who are doing the job.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, there's a lot that goes into that relationship, and it's not a one-way street. Believe that for sure.
Right.
So if you're listening to this and you have caregivers, be kind, be courteous,
Exactly.
Don't
be
call
open
him your
to
maid.
their suggestions.
Don't call him
Yeah.
his chauffeur.
Yeah,
Although,
like I said,
Don't scream at them when you're trying to
Don't
help
cut.
them.
I was just gonna say, don't cuss them out because you want to sleep late.
wait a minute now.
well, hey now, that can happen.
Look at me,
No,
my
but you
light
do.
bulb.
You have to be respectful, and you have to be
You're right.
courteous, and you have to understand that it's their workplace as well. I know it may be your home, but it's also their workplace, and they have rights. And so, the more you can be
Mhm.
open and communicate with each other and be kind, probably the better you're going to get along with your caregiver, and the better care
Exactly.
you're going to get.
Well, just
Exactly.
screen them, see what their last job was. If their last job was, so I babysitted my kids' friends, my friends' kids or whatever. It's like, this is not babysitting, these are adults. Oh, I thought it's similar to it. Okay, I'll try it and see how it works. I actually heard one of the interviews say, I'm like, okay, she should be good. She'll be the assistant manager of this house by next week.
I will say, though, honestly, a few of the caregivers the best caregivers I ever had were people who never had one set
Right.
of qualifications for the job. I just taught them how to do it the way I like things done, and
That's
just,
the
you
best way to
vibe
be.
with the person.
That's the best, Shawn.
Well, that's good
I
because
think
you
that's
can
the best because
communicate.
they don't have
but
a knowledge.
I feel
Right.
bad for the people that are nonverbal who can't
Mhm.
communicate, like
Right.
people with autism.
That's
and
where
stuff.
advocacy, but that's where advocacy work comes in at, because they should have an advocate, you know what I'm saying, working with them when they're nonverbal or have some type of cognitive disability or anything of that nature. That's where the advocacy work comes in.
If they show up.
Huh?
Well,
If they
case
show
management
up,
too,
they're
right?
able to
I
show
mean,
up.
that's a case management issue as well. I mean,
Yeah.
they're assigned case managers, and case managers are not violating any HIPAA protocols by checking in on their clients, because that's
Popping up. Yeah.
So, like, I think better case managers, you better caregivers, and better government function when it comes to how the whole thing works. People need more hours of people to be able to help them.
Right.
Less people in for one person. There's no reason why there should be 5 people for one caregiver. That's ridiculous.
Exactly.
It's the most unreal. It's not real. It's not realistic.
Right.
Same thing with a nurse. There shouldn't be 12 or 15 people per nurse. That's ridiculous too. There should be to pay these people a little more, to be able to get more quality. As far as people go, I don't know. I could go on about this all day long.
Right, exactly.
Look
at me. And look, I got a weightlifting class. I gotta get to.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm always hiring. Yes, but I really mostly work with RN and LPN at this point.
Oh,
so yeah, but as far as caregivers go, I know there's a lot of people who need those. So, anyways, I know we're running short on time. LaRonda's got to go. Get them guns right.
Right. You see, look at me. It's getting dark, so I gotta go. I gotta go to weightlifting class.
So, anyways, final thoughts, Don.
I think, like you said, the system needs to be overhauled, and we need to be part of that process. We need to advocate for better care. So, but I appreciate Tom coming in and sharing stories with us. And really enjoyed that.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for all the work you've done in the homes as well. Appreciate that.
LaRonda.
Well, like I said, advocacy. I'm a big advocate. For anybody that's being mistreated. So I think that, like you said, we just need more advocacy in that area.
Eric.
Tom, I want to thank you for coming down here and
appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, helping me to reveal some things about myself. Yeah, and I'm sure
You
it'll be
made
used.
Sean, you
it'll-
made Sean's day.
Yeah, it'll be used against me. I'm sure.
You know it.
There's already plans. I can see the gears.
His eyes, the wheels are turning in
Oh
there.
yeah. High speed,
For sure.
like a Swiss watch. Yeah. Mhm.
Mm-mm-mm.
What about you, Tom? Any last words?
Senior care workers, make sure, see what they, I know you can't always be right. You have to see how they start off their first week. I mean, if they're on their phone texting all week, yeah, I could use some breakfast right now. Yeah, okay, in a minute. Then this one might not work out. But just screen them, make sure they like the job. I would say ask questions. Do you enjoy doing this kind of work? What made you decide to do this work? And answer as well as beats Burger King. It's like you said earlier, Sean. You're gonna get what you pay for,
It's
and
true.
just hope that you're get someone that actually has a conscience.
Yeah, I think that you said it very well right there. Overhaul if you're having issues, overhaul your processes. Do better screening. Interviews are crucial. Do multiple interviews if you have to. You can do them over Skype, FaceTime. You can do all that stuff. If you're not able to, hopefully you're in a place where somebody can advocate for you and does take that seriously, because it really is a serious matter. And like we saw in this thing earlier, it can be a matter of life and death. It can be the matter of losing somebody that you care about or something of the sort. So advocate.
You
And
get a chance, read the article.
yeah,
It's
I'm sure Eric will post that underneath here.
Yeah, I can put the links to the articles.
Yeah,
Yep.
put the links to the article, give it a read. And yeah, if you ever want to know how to live in a van down by the river, you know who to call. That's Eric at azspinal.org, 602-507-4209. Eric will give you all the deets.
Oh, you're killing me.
It was peace and tranquility.
He
Seen
can
elk,
teach you
deer,
how to shower
rabbits,
out of a
everything.
bucket if you need
Right.
to.
Yeah, I got stories.
Anyways,
Oh, it
Thank you,
froze.
Kenny.
Look at that. That's a nice picture, though. He
Yeah.
froze.
Yeah, he just
Frozen.
froze. Forever froze, and that is done.
Over.
Bye, Sean.
I
Good
think
way to end
Sean
the
just,
show.
Sean's out.
Sean out.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.
See you guys.
Take care.
Nice
Nice seeing you
See
guys.
you guys.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Tom.
Hey, thank you guys.